Alright, what is going on, guys? Spiteful is back again, coming at you with a top 10 Ichigo list. Now keep in mind that this is all my opinion, so if you have a problem with it, you can make your own list. Hell, I might even actually watch it. Moving on. Alright, now, I know what you're thinking, guys. Oh my god, you're copying me Apocalypse. Well, you know what? I messaged me Apocalypse as soon as that his video dropped. And I told him I was planning on making one in a couple weeks, waiting to see what comes out for 1000 Year Blood or Volume 4. Now, I didn't really think they would bring out another Ichigo, but I just want to have the foresight for it. Love me Apocalypse, by the way. I know he gets a lot of shit for his top 10s, and honestly, I feel like I feel like his top 10s are a lot more analytical than most others. And I don't really go as in depth as him. I just go based on stats, skills. Well, I mean, I just go based on not only the feel, but exactly how well their uses are. So this list is going to be going by not only how relevant they are, but where they can also be used. So let's move on. Now, this Ichigo is here literally because there's literally nothing better. I would have made this a top 9 list, but top 10 is more clickbait. Moving on. Now, over here we have a fully holified Ichigo. Now he, like, you might be thinking like, oh, his 6-star came out after Dangai. Why is Dangai ahead of him? Well, first off, you my young little Padawans, he falters in my opinion over here with his strong attack 1 and 2. And notice how his strong attack 3 is a ranged damage. My problem with that is it's a 24-second cooldown, but his first strong attack and second strong attack both have a 16-second cooldown. On top of that, his vortex not only forces him to stay in a stance where he has to actually hold his sword out for a little longer than he really needs to, that also causes him to not get the maximum damage potential from his vortex to begin with. Having a vortex in strong attack 1 is okay, but if he had a melee strong attack 3, I feel like he might have been a lot better off in this list. Now, he does have a whopping 701 attack as opposed to the 740, yeah, 740 that Dangai Ichigo has. But he does have a bruiser of 30% as opposed to Dangai Ichigo's bruiser of 15%. Keep in mind that both of them do have a normal attack damage soul trait, and because of his strong attacks, I do feel he's a little bit weaker than Dangai, despite his attribute being mind. You know, he doesn't have an attribute disadvantage in the sense of dealing damage. His devastation is only 40% as opposed to Dangai's bombardment. On top of that, Dangai Ichigo is just, he's quite a powerhouse with his berserker of 50%. So 608 spiritual pressure as opposed to Dangai Ichigo's 592. With the berserker of 50%, he just deals more damage. Not only that, but Ichigo's strong attacks actually have like not only a good magnification, but they have pretty good range on it with a full screen strong attack 3, which looks absolutely beautiful, mind you. Strong attack 2 is a lunge, and strong attack 1 is probably the weakest one in terms of actually dealing damage. You stay in place and you swing your sword in front of you. Special 150% magnification as opposed to the magnification of 150% over here. Both of them, as you can see, are full screen, but like I said, like Dangai Ichigo does have bombardment, which effectively doubles the damage of his final thing. Where this Ichigo is better though is that he does have a Ronkar killer. I'm gonna scroll down. A Ronkar killer, which is good. Whereas this Ichigo has a Espada killer. The Espada killer made this dude relevant in PvP when it came down to Noitoras, Baragons, and even Grimmjow. Which Grimmjow was a big problem up until Shinji started coming out. Which I didn't even have Shinji. It feels bad. Alright, moving on to number 7 in the list. I have Movie 4 Ichigo. Now, you might be wondering, why is Movie 4 Ichigo so low on the list? Well, let me tell you. He's an ad character. I feel like that's where he falters. And my issue isn't really because he's an ad character, but I feel like the liberties that they took with him kind of messed him up. Now, he is a 25% normal attack damage link with his bruiser of 50%. It makes him pretty good, right? Like, I'm not saying that he's a bad character, and none of these guys ahead of him are bad characters. I'll tell you that right now. Strong attack 1, 8 seconds. Strong attack 2, 24 seconds. Keep in mind that his vortex lasts a very long time. And that could be good. That a long-lasting vortex is good for several characters, but my issue when it comes to NAD characters is unless you're doing like guild quests, in which case you kind of want a vortex just to deal hits, you don't really want a NAD character having a long vortex, because the time it takes to land your vortex, NAD them down. NAD is normal attack damage for my new players. I know there's a lot of new players out now. My problem isn't that it's a long vortex, my problem is this right here. The 24-second cooldown hurts him so much, in my opinion. Now, my issue is more like he's not going to be able to guard break as much as you would like. His strong attack 3 doesn't really have the range that I would have liked either. 2% weakening probability, like it's not that big a deal. His special does have weakening, and he does have debilitator, which is nice. The bruiser of 50% is definitely very... Excuse me, the bruiser of 50% is definitely very good. The berserker 30% is okay, but you're probably going to want to use him with the chappy, or pretty much you're not going to have your SP, or you shouldn't have your SP if you're building him the proper way. He does have Hollow Killer, so he does have a PvE killer effect. He definitely kills like Hogyoku Aizen in PvP, but my issue with him is simply that he doesn't deal the damage in co-op as you would actually like him to. NAD characters usually are put into very, very, very dangerous situations when it comes to co-op. Mainly from bosses and stuff like that. Now, 6 on the list. Anniversary Ichigo. Now, the ones ahead of him were definitely very hard to place. My issue with this Ichigo is simply just range. Now, he is a ranged character, and for a character with range, he has absolutely none of it. Attribute speed makes him very good. He also has an Arankar killer. Strong attack damage. He's a strong attack damage 25% link, along with Frenzy, makes him one of the hardest hitting Ichigos in the game. Especially, well, definitely the hardest hitting speed character. Speed Ichigo, excuse me. He does have an Arankar killer, which makes him useful for co-op, PvE, like all around PvE. He's not very good in PvP because his third strong attack just activates way too slow, and he's at risk for the Kisuke. Even Toshiro kills him. Like, it's crazy. Like, I used to, every time I saw an Anniversary Ichigo in PvP, I would send Toshiro his way, just because Toshiro is faster. Same thing with Shunsui. 1000 Year Blood War Shunsui. Like, I would always send my Ichigo his way. Now, Bruiser of 40% makes his NAD somewhat usable, which is good. Devastation 40%. His special does deal pretty good damage. Frenzy, we already spoke about that. The increased soul trait. And he does have a Sprinter +2, which is pretty cool, so he pretty much dashes across the field. Now, his Strong Attack 2 is a melee lunge. His Strong Attack 1 is a very narrow ranged burst of 3 waves. And his Strong Attack 3, when it's actually charged up, as you can see, the magnification is 240% with 4600 range damage. Now, keep in mind that his special is melee damage, whereas his third strong attack is range damage. When you multiply these two, they come up to about the same percentage, and not the same percentage. They come up to about the same number. Now, 24-second cooldown, 8, 16, 24. Me personally, I love that. His NAD isn't that bad, but like I said, my problem hit with him is mainly he doesn't really have the range. I would have loved to see him with maybe a Havoc of 20 to 30%, and I think that would have made him not only a very, very, very huge powerhouse, but I think that he would have been excellent. Like, keep in mind that when his Strong Attack 3 is charged, it is not full screen, so when you don't charge it, unfortunately for this Ichigo, he just doesn't have the range that I personally would have loved to see for a character with the title Second Anniversary. Like, you guys have seen what they did to Ulquiorra, and I feel like they did Ulquiorra justice. Now, moving on. Tag Team Ichigo. By now, you can probably guess who I have in the top 4 slots. I guess it's to no one's surprise. It shouldn't be to anyone's surprise. I think that I'll surprise you with the last 2, but it's not intentional. This is, like I said, my opinion. Now, this Ichigo is incredibly good. He is a Soul Reaper with an increased strong attack damage link. This increased strong attack damage link actually makes him incredibly powerful for quests such as, what is it called? Not only Senkaimon, but guild quests. He also has a Vortex along with Frenzy. We're going to scroll down over here. Strong attack 2. He does have an 8... What? 24? Is it 24? It might be 24, but I run him with, what do you call it? Oh, it is an elongated vortex. No wonder why he's such a monster. Okay. You know what's funny is I barely use this character enough to actually recognize that, just because I always run him with full strong attack recharge. Now, long reach, area of effect 20%, his nat is actually pretty good. I'm actually in love with this character. Like, his Shikai, even he's in his Shikai form, so his sword is massive. He has the long reach, he has the havoc, so his vortex not only lasts very long, but it also has frenzy, so it has a lot of hits, and then he has havoc, which makes the vortex in and of itself incredibly large. Definitely one of the must-have characters for Guild Quest, along with Technique Rangaku. Now, he does have Devastation of 40%, which is about average and standard for a Frenzy character, but that's not the only reason he's very good. His Strong Attack 3, despite not being a full screen, is all-encompassed around him, so he does have some decent range, not as much as I personally would like. Strong Attack 1 is a lunge. His special attack is a full screen, pretty much, it's pretty much a full screen nuke. He has very good SP, and I think that the best part about him, as you can see, like 725 SP is actually incredible. With 634 attack is a little above average for his time. But what I love about this character and what makes him just an insane powerhouse is his killer effects. He is a tag team character, so he has Soul Reaper Killer and a Rancor Killer, which is some of the best. Honestly, guys, these are the best killers in the game for PvE, because it's good for PvE enemies, and it's good for the bosses, because captains are usually Soul Reapers, Shinji excluded, of course, and Rancors are literally every Espada. So overall, this character, in my opinion, is definitely one of my favorites, and definitely one of my go-tos whenever I'm just trying to have fun. Moving on to the next one, Movie 1 Ichigo. Now, I know these three are gonna, these three in their location might trigger some people, but hear me out, okay? This Movie 1 Ichigo is a strong attack recharge 14% link. This, if you have like Swimsuit Neliel, this character literally launches his strong attacks like no one's business. Not only that, but even though he doesn't have a full screen third strong attack, neither do these three, alright? But him being able to pump them out much faster than the others, because the others are strong attack damage links, he just literally just goes ham. Not only that, but his attribute is heart, so he already has attribute, he either has attribute advantage, and he's never at an attribute disadvantage in terms of dealing damage, unless you're taking him into extreme co-op, in which case, if you're taking him to extreme co-op and he is not the boosted unit, then you, my friend, are a fool, okay? Now, 745 SP, incredibly high for his time. I think it was the highest or for his time anyways. 641 attack, which is about average for frenzy units even now, right? Kisuke is 642. Ichigo is Ichigo is like 640, but we'll get into that in a second. Over 1,000 stamina, incredibly good. 350 defense and 320 focus, about average for those two. Now, he is a hollow killer, so good for PvE. He has long reach, so his nat is somewhat usable. Havoc, which makes his strong attacks just much better, in my opinion. Bruiser, 30%. Frenzy, increased strong attack hits, so he deals double damage effectively with his strong attacks. And an increased soul trait, which brings his strong attack recharge from 12 to 14%. Now, guys, for me personally, I hate these two skills. Long reach and havoc. Not because they're bad skills. I hate them strictly because I feel like they could just make the characters innately have them. Same thing with medic. I feel like you have Raid Tsukishima, you have Parasol Nanao, you have not the OG Retsu, but those two, Parasol Nanao and Tsukishima and Raid Tsukishima, they have heal built into their heal, right? Like, they don't need medic, they don't have medic, you know, like they just have it. And for me, that's a very important distinction. Okay, so the long reach and havoc is nice, but I wish that they were just like a different skill. Alright, moving on. 8, 16, 24. He just pumps out strong attacks. With a 50, let me see. Assuming you're actually link slotting him, you'll have a 28 plus blah blah blah. 52% cooldown if you have Swimsuit Neliel. 50% cooldown if you're just using strong attack recharge links. Which, in my opinion, assuming you only have 50% cooldown, 4 seconds, 8 seconds, and 12 seconds. And that strong attack 3, despite it not being full screen, it does deal very good damage. And on top of that, it is a beautiful strong attack. It is gorgeous. Special attack looks pretty damn cool with Senna on the side. And he does, like I said, he also has a hollow killer. moving on. Alright, moving on to next on the list. Now here's where we're gonna get surprising. Lost Agent Ichigo. Not Fullbring Ichigo, we're getting that soon. Alright, I chose the path of protecting others. I love that they actually put the thing. So shout out to Brave Souls FYI. I'll post a link in the description. So, Ichigo Kurosaki. Now he is a tech hollow killer with strong attack damage. Boom, boom, boom. Now, his stats really aren't that great in comparison to what's being released now. That being said, he was also released well over a year ago. He came out about in, I want to say he came out in April or like March, April, May. And this character is still just amazing. 721 SP, 325 focus, 361 defense. The defense is a little on the high side. 638 attack, a little on the low side. And under 1,000 stamina, but like I said, for his time, he was just fine. Now, this character has a hollow killer. And let's get into why I love this character. Long Reach makes his NAD usable. Bruiser makes his NAD somewhat usable. Frenzy effectively doubles his damage. Devastation 40% about average. Weaken attack on his special. Me personally, I think it's a throwaway skill. You don't even want to be taking damage. And yeah. So, third strong attack. Full screen strong attack. Simple. Second strong attack is a very, very far ranged Getsuga Tensho. His first strong attack is a lunge, and I personally love lunge skills. And his final skill, one of the most beautiful special moves in the game, which is a full screen and deals a massive amount of damage. Not only that, but this character just flows very, very nicely. He, like, even though he doesn't flow as well as this movie Ichigo, I feel like this Ichigo just gets the job done with his full screen strong attack, with his very long reach second strong attack. I think that this character is still very, very high up there. Yeah, like I said, this is my opinion, guys. Now, moving on to the next one. True Shikai Ichigo. Now these two guys, I wanted to put them, these two are so close together, and the reason that I had such a hard time placing them is simply because these two are such different characters. They literally have nothing in common with each other aside from the 8, 16, 24 cooldowns for their strong attacks. That's literally the only thing they have in common besides being Soul Reapers. You are a Soul Reaper, right? Yeah, you are a Soul Reaper, okay. Just making sure. Oh man, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful characters. Alright, let's I'm gonna scroll down, let's move into this. Boom, boom, boom. And we're gonna just move this one down to here as well. Alright, let's go over 1,000 Year Blood War Ichigo. Now, 1,000 Year Blood War Ichigo, I want to put them in a tie, right? But for the sake of the top 10, I gotta put them together. Now, notable mentions, there are no notable mentions. The all-around Ichigo is absolute garbage. Halloween Ichigo is literal trash. And the Tech Shikai Ichigo is literal garbage. I'm surprised that they haven't just given him out again already. Come on, Caleb. Now, 1,042 stamina, already on the high side. 771 attack, one of the highest attacks in the game, if not the highest attack. I'm actually not quite sure. Can I do this? Yeah, let's see where he's at. Attack. Yeah, 771 attack, highest attack in the game, easily. Moving on, 1,042, 367 defense on the high side, 336 focus on the average side, 626 spiritual pressure. A little on the low side, but in comparison to like the attack being so high and having flurry, this spiritual pressure is nothing to scoff at. Details, Espada plus 40% damage is incredible. Especially considering a lot of the enemies with the... keep in mind, he has Flurry, guys. Every single character with Flurry, as of yet, has had a captain or a Spada killer. That's just how it is. If it was a Ronkar killer, this character would have easily been first. Now, Berserker, strong attack damage 40%, so if you decide... Devastation 40%, and weaken defense on his special. So if you decide not to bring him with Chappies, he should do just fine, honestly. He might not be as good as some of the other characters, but he should do just fine. Now he does have Flurry, which increases normal attack hits, pretty effectively doubles his NAD damage. And then with the weakened defense, you can literally just use your special, like completely mitigate the special's damage with your Chappie, and then at the very least you have Flurry to use with your weakened defense. So you're dealing more damage in that regard. Strong Attack 3, full screen radius. He does have a moving vortex with the Strong Attack 2, and the first Strong Attack is a very long range, little mini Getsuga Tensho type thing. Now keep in mind that the little mini Getsuga Tensho for Strong Attack 1 does have incredibly long range. My only issue with it is that he pushes them so far behind, so he pushes them so far back that even though you guard break them, you have to flash step forward in order to even like deal damage to them. The Strong Attack 2 is very good. You just use your Strong Attack 2 and then nat down your enemies. And the Strong Attack 3 is just incredibly good for crowd control. And like I said, he does have an 8, 16, 24 cooldown reduction, which just makes him one of the, honestly, one of the biggest, like one of the best characters in the game. He's just nasty. Overall, he's just a nasty character. He's amazing. Moving on. 1000-Year Blood War, true Bankai Ichigo. Oh man. Oh man, what else can I say about this character? This character is just insane. Highest SP in the game. Waiting for the comments that are saying Yuha Baha or you watch if you still don't know how to properly pronounce it. Okay, did you type the comment? Yeah? No, okay. Highest SP with Frenzy. Alright, there you go. 642 attack on the high side. 1053 stamina. That's insane. 1053 stamina. Like, go to the stamina. Look at this. Look at this. 1059. Look, Ichigo's right here. He's like top 4 in stamina for those that don't have plus 320%, plus 320 stamina built in. That's just crazy. Defense is 354 and 351 focus. The focus on the high side, the defense on the average side. But on top of that, he has a Soul Reaper killer, and he is the he's the second strong attack recharge Soul Reaper killer that we've gotten this year. The first one being Kaname, which Kaname is a beast, if you guys didn't already know. Now, Bruiser, increased normal attack damage 20%, about standard for Frenzy characters. Increased flash steps, standard for almost every character except for Kenpachi, feels bad. Devastation, special move damage 40%. Pretty much just makes his special usable. With his high SP, it's kind of necessary. The Enhancer, increased buff, skill duration time plus 10 seconds. He also has a team boost, which is like the main reason that I put him above the Ichigo, the other Ichigo. So keep in mind that this Ichigo does have a 8, 40, 24. My issue with the 40 seconds is not really there, only because he's a strong attack recharge character. Me personally, I would run him with Movie 1 Ichigo, Swimsuit Neliel, and then Frenzy Yoruichi, just so you get a little added damage while having a massive amount of strong attack recharge. Pretty much you get like your infinite boost going on. That way your strong attack 2 event, like, you want your buff to wear off as your cooldown for strong attack 2 at least is about to come back or is already back. Now, strong attack 1 is a lunge with some good range on it. Like, I'm actually quite impressed with the range on his strong attack 1. His strong attack 3 is a full screen, as you can see here in the transform state. You do transform when you use your strong attack 2. Transforms character for 10 seconds, but with the enhancer, increased buff skill duration for 10 seconds. So if you have 50% strong attack recharge, the buff lasts for 20 seconds, which is absolutely glorious. His special attack magnification of 150%, pretty average. 6.8k melee damage. That's actually on the high side, guys. Let's see. As you can see here, transformed. Now, I'm not sure if you're just like increasing this by 33%. But as you can see here, like the magnification of the strong attack actually increased. Like even with just the transformation, all the magnifications increased. Wow, that's actually insane. I didn't even see that. Yeah, so you get the buff in the melee damage, you get the buff in the magnification, you get the buff with the full screen. Like this is just nasty. And as you can see here, it's a team boost. Like, this character is not only a beast when it comes to dealing massive amounts of DPS, but he also is a support unit in co-op, which in my opinion not only helps the team as a whole deal more damage, but he also helps the team survive. Like, 33% defense is nothing really to scoff at. Like, that could be the differentiating factor between life and death, honestly. This character is just insane. Like this, I don't know what else to say. He has the best killer in the game, especially for PvE. Incredible strong attacks. Like, and not only that, his strong attacks are just gorgeous. But overall, those are my top 2 for Ichigo. True Shikai, True Bankai. Let me know in the comments below what you think I got wrong. I know this is gonna cause up a shitstorm. This is Ichigo, after all. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all know this, guys. Grind on, catch me up, pick me up, stay blessed, y'all. Wish all the best luck in your summons. I hope you get this Ichigo. I really do. He's just nuts. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.